take us probably into early August to get around to all of them, but we, St. John the Birchman is already on the list. So, and if anyone else, churches, etc., if you would like someone from the city to come out and do outreach and to speak, or to have, we can actually register people on site for special needs registry. Again, ready.nola.gov, there's a form you can fill out there to have someone from one of the group of us that are here today, we can come out and speak as well.
That's what I wanted to hear. For the two ladies from the churches, that they would come out and talk to you. That would be good.
Okay. Because and outreach is so important, as Sarah indicated. The city has been instrumental in reaching out, and of course, having more staff to get out there and spread the word, makes a huge amount of difference. So the city has been key to the outreach effort, and we here at RTA, I know particularly with Karen's efforts in terms of outreach, we've really beefed that up as well. In fact, our Special Transit Services Advisory Committee, Karen, I'm sure they're aware of our outreach efforts, and they also are involved in spreading the word. So it's a partnership among city, first responder groups, key agencies, community groups, churches, and even the RTA. So thank you again. I'll ask my RTA folks, do you guys have any additional comment? I know Mr. Watkins, who's Director of Paratransit, has shared some info about what we can do by way of who's registered already as ADA certified. But is Gerard still here? Perhaps he stepped out. Ed, if you have any comments about how, I know that Ed has been key in getting together our people internally and making sure that we have our resources available in the event of a storm. We say we make all available resources at the ready, but in truth, we're very elastic. I know that for Gustav, we anticipated a certain window of time. We were mentioning timelines, and originally we said, hey, we're going to scale down about 30 hours prior to landfall, but in fact, I think it was more like 10 hours prior to landfall that we actually wrapped up providing service to the community and getting folks to the UPT. So keep in mind, we may say we have X number of vehicles, Y number of operators, and we have a timeline, but as Colin indicated earlier, it depends upon the nature of the storm, how quickly it's moving, the intensity of the storm, so many factors in the mix. And that's why it's important to have people ready ahead of time, because that way we can work with you and everybody can be a little more flexible.
Is no transportation still here? Someone is here from Mel's Transportation?
She had to leave,
Okay.
because she is part of our process. I think a lot of you have written with them now, and they're just another member of our organization.
You may see bells on the side of the vehicle, correct? But it's part of the RTA paratransit community.
Well, certainly I like to thank everyone for coming out today. And it's been yes, Ms. Allen.
Well, I just, a couple of suggestions from sitting here listening to what the city is doing and also what you guys are doing. I worked with Energy and trying to identify those individuals who are on electrical devices, so when the power goes out. So I'd ask the city to talk to them so that they could cross-reference their list, because they ask me that question all the time.
Yeah, so we have been working with Entergy very closely over the last year to do two things. One, we have reprioritized what facilities restore power to first. So their list had been very old, so even some of the hospitals didn't exist. We've got new ones. So we have all the hospitals, police stations, fire stations, some other essential city buildings that are on that list. So that's the first priority. The second priority are things like nursing homes and assisted living facilities and some of the very large independent living facilities, as well as some of the other commercial buildings that are needed. And then we also, again, anyone who signs up for the special needs registry who's power dependent, we map your locations. So during an emergency, I can sit with Entergy and we'll have a map of the power outage along with who is power dependent for medical reasons, and we can prioritize neighborhoods that have a high density of those individuals. And there is, if you are on electrically dependent medical equipment, Entergy also has a phone number, I don't have it off the top of my head, but they do have a phone number that you can call to get on their everyday power list as well.
All right. The second thing is that we're gonna contact, and we've asked for a significant supply of this to give to our 1,500 Meals on Wheels clients and ask them to see if they need transportation, and then thus be able to call 311 and get registered. And the last thing that we've talked about this for the last couple of years, you know, at one time, we did have evacuation using rail trains. And one of the ideas that we kicked around was seeing if the Federal Transit Administration would buy a supply of wheelchair accessible rail cars so that you wouldn't have this particular problem you're talking about.
I can kind of address that. We have used Amtrak in the past as a method of evacuation. It's very useful. One of the problems is with those current trains, they're not really accessible. The stairwells are like 24 inches, which is just, I mean, very difficult. Here's the problem. With the new hurricane protection system built since Katrina, there are places that the rails go across that they have to close these walls up to a week in advance. And obviously, they are very hesitant to reopen those walls. Rail will always have a place if we can use it, but it is not a preferred method at this point. But I do definitely appreciate what you're saying. I mean, ideally it would be great, but with the hurricane system now, the protection system, it's difficult.
And we would love for you to hand out brochures to all of your Meals on Wheels.
Please.
But with that quantity of
We've already
brochures.
contacted you guys, you're supposed to be getting into it.
Okay, so I'll work with Kara, who handles those, to make sure we have enough for y'all. And we might need to put in a special order for that many brochures.
Yes.
Before y'all close, I just want to thank all of y'all staff up there for coming out and giving us this information, because the information y'all have given us today, it could be something for our lifespan, you know, going through it all. And I want to also say you with RTA, that I've been riding with them for quite some time now, about 7 years, and you pick me up to go to church every Sunday, and that's the greatest task for me. Down on Baron, I leave at 6:45 every Sunday, I'll be picked up, and then from church, 9:15, because Immaculate Concession, the judgery right across from Roseville, that's my church over there. And they're fantastic, all your drivers. You treat them, they have such respect for young guys and all, and I think I always try to let them know, because they're doing a good job. And my family takes me everywhere, you know, I want to go too. But I love to ride with RTA, because I'm kind of like to look around the city. Usually, young people are taking just where you want to go, and that, you know, that's it pretty much. But I just want to take this opportunity to let y'all know, as far as I'm concerned, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for those comments, and honestly, I didn't care ahead of time. What I would like to say is just because that you ride the paratransit, don't assume that you're part of the 311. You need to call and register with 311, even though you're on the paratransit. So be sure and do that. But that, again, can't stress that enough. That's number one. Get registered on there so we know who you are, where you are, and what you need.
And please also remember, we covered it right at the beginning, but this is for a category 3 or above, where the mayor has said, everybody get out of town. So if we have a tropical storm or something else that's a lower level, pay real close attention to the news, because you might be standing at those bus stops for a long time if they didn't call for the evacuation. You know, it's only when the evacuation's called. And again, and we say it all the time, if you have family or if you know people that have a way to get out, it's going to be much better if they go on their own. This plan is a last resort, but it's there for people that really just have no other alternative. and register at 311. We've said it 100 times, so please register.
Well, I'd like to take this time to thank the staff, Mr. Mark Hopkins and Mr. Karen Wilson-Sider for facilitating this great, I would think it's one of the best prepared to get on preparedness meeting. Mr. Mark Hopkins, he took and pulled this together without thinking about it. He pulled everybody together, and I want to give him his kudos right here. Ms. Sider, who also works well with Mr. Hopkins in facilitating everything. And they did an excellent job of putting this together. And I want to thank them. So we're gonna go on the road with this school, guys. Many other cities.
So we will not do it, but evacuteer.org is going to be there, and she will have all the information from our agencies.
And that will show the entire month of July on channel 76, I'm sorry.
We coming back.
Okay, and yeah, we'll bring you back.
We will be back, definitely. Well, I want to thank Commissioner Roth and Mr. Major, our chairs, chair and co-chair, and I certainly want to thank everyone here on the dais, Sarah Babcock, Colin Arnold. You've been instrumental in making things happen for me at the city. My hat is, I don't have a hat on, but if I did, my hat is off to you. And of course, NOFD, Ray Casey, and EMS, Bill Salmeron, thank you all so much for being here. And all the folks down there from the city, yonder, Deb, Janet, those people, to his right, thank you so much. Truly appreciate your coming, and most of all to the community. Howard, look forward to the media show. I know I'll be on there whether I want to or not. And thank you all so much. I want to stand up and most appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.